I'm installing an aftermarket head unit in my 2010 Honda Odyssey EXL. This is the factory head unit that came with my model. The aftermarket head unit that I'm installing is this Android style head unit. If you had navigation from the factory on your Honda Odyssey, then you would have had this head unit. This head unit would have been located down lower. Would have gone in this location right here. If you didn't have navigation from the factory, you would have had a storage cubby right here. I removed the storage cubby, that way I could place the head unit right here. I sourced this head unit from eBay. I purchased it for $30 plus shipping. It did include a security code. Make sure you have a security code because if you do not, it's not going to work. So I already have the head unit installed. If you want to know how to disassemble your dash to get access to this, there's lots of write-ups on the internet and videos on YouTube that will go into depth on how to do this. So with this all taken apart, you could see all of the wiring that's associated with the radio. There's lots of different plugs. There's 3 of them that I'm going to have to leave up here in the upper area. The rest of them I'm going to have to separate, and I'm going to have to relocate them to the lower area. What you're going to have to end up doing is cutting back the tape and the foam that is wrapped around that harness. That way you could separate the wires. The wires up here that you do not end up relocating are going to plug into your aftermarket head unit. You're going to plug those ones in using an adapter that is typically included with the Android style head unit. If you don't buy an Android style head unit, you'll have to source one for your particular head unit. These are plug and play, which is nice. The one that I had that was included with my Android head unit was made for that head unit. However, my model came with this head unit, so I had to source the correct adapter. I got it on Amazon, which was this one right here. I got it for $12 on Amazon. It has the big one right here that is going to be power and all of your speaker wiring. That plugs in to this right here. This middle one right here is going to be for your steering wheel control. And next, the last one is your radio antenna. So with all of this figured out, I can now go ahead and just separate it. I can cut these wires back, and I could relocate them down below. I did ensure that those all fit correctly. My next dilemma was how to get power to this head unit. I sourced the correct pigtail that will plug it directly into it on Amazon for $13. It plugs right into the back. That's going to supply your power and has all the speaker connections. With this particular pigtail, I'm going to have to splice it into this adapter right here. I'm going to convert it into a Y harness, and I'm going to add about 2 feet of extra length to it. That way I can run it down here and have it end up there. There is going to be quite a bit of splicing and dissection of wires, as I like to call it. So now I have them separated. This is what I have left over in the upper area that will plug into my aftermarket head unit. After cutting the tape back and removing a lot of the foam, this is what I'm left with. The remaining wires, I took them and I found a way in the back of the dash here to reroute them down below. What I ended up having to do was open up the glove box and remove the hinges on the glove box to allow it to swing down all the way so I could gain better access. Now would be a good time to change your cabin air filter if you never have. With that lowered, you have a view and access with your hand to be able to move the wires. So here's all those wires that are going to plug into the aftermarket head unit. And there's the rest of the wires leading up to my aftermarket head unit. So I have to figure out how to get all these wires into this area. It looks like I'm going to be able to get them in through here. Hopefully this will work out well. And I believe it will, because I was able to see my hand through here. I'm going to go ahead and give it a try right now. And it looks like this is going to work out just fine. Here we go. There it is. So you'll be able to do the same thing. And there's a closer look at where it's going to go. The next step I made was building the Y harness. I started by cutting 12 equal length pieces of wire and then stripping 1/4 inch of housing off each end. I then began to solder each connection. After soldering was complete, I used shrink tube over each connection and used a heat gun to shrink the tubing for a sealed finish. I then carefully crimped on quick splice terminals onto each wire. Next, I connected each wire, matching the colors as I went. I would recommend making this harness much longer than you think you need. Mine was a bit short and made the installation more difficult than it needed to be. I definitely would recommend soldering these connections if you are able to. I do have experience soldering, so I chose to go this route. If you don't, crimping them on is totally fine. And I do suggest that you learn how to solder. It's very easy and quite pleasant to do. You should definitely have some confidence and try things that are outside of your comfort zone. You are totally capable of it, and your wallet will thank you for it. An audio shop would charge you a lot of money to do this. This is the Y harness that I completed. As I mentioned before, I recommend making it longer. I wish I had made mine about a foot longer than it is. Nonetheless, this will work out just fine. I am now going to install this and prepare to test out the DVD function. I do wish that I had soldered everything, but these quick crimp connectors will still do the job. They just won't be as good of a connection as if they were soldered. I followed up by wrapping it up with tape, and overall, I'm pretty satisfied with it. Keep in mind how much an audio shop would charge you for this. Running wire can be rather difficult sometimes. I found some tricks along the way that might help you. A simple flashlight is very helpful. You could shine it through little holes and openings to try to find the other end. Another trick I like to use is taking a metal clothes hanger. You could cut it in half and bend it however you need it to. It also works good for pulling wire by simply taping the wire you wish to pull through to the metal rod and pulling it through. This is very helpful as sometimes the spaces that you're trying to run the wire through are just much too small or awkward to get your hands or fingers inside of. Overall, the cost of this was less than $200. The Android head unit was $109 on Amazon. The eBay head unit that I purchased was $32 with shipping included. The adapter I needed for the Android head unit was $13 on Amazon. The pigtail that I needed was $12 on Amazon. Add in two monsters for $5. And that brings me to a grand total of $178. And here we go. We're going to go ahead and test this out now. So let's turn on the power here. And okay, it turned on. Now it's asking for the security code. I'm going to go ahead and enter that in now. There we go. Okay, cool. So he did give me the correct code. Looks like everything on this is working correctly. And we're going to go ahead and switch this over to DVD mode. And let's see if we have video in the rear. There we go. I have video in the rear now. That is exactly what I wanted. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any other questions, let me know.